back to another edition of the Preseason Coaches Show on Friday nights in Carolina. And if you like all our content, hit that follow and like button and smash that subscribe button on YouTube for more content. Today I'm joined by the Mallard Creek High School head football coach, Coach Kennedy Tinsley. Coach Kennedy, welcome to the show.
Hey, Brendan, appreciate you having me, man.
Hey, we appreciate you having you back on the show. So the last time we had you was a little bit earlier in the season. And, by that time we didn't really know if we were going to even have a season. And by then you were actually just fresh to Mallard Creek High School. So give us a little bit about yourself for the audience that doesn't know, and tell me what you've learned a little bit since you've been at Mallard Creek.
Sure, man. First year, like you said, at Mallard Creek from Greensboro, North Carolina, was at Southeast Guilford High School. That was my first job as a head coach, and was there for 3 years, and then was blessed with the opportunity to come to Mallard Creek. And so since then, man, it's been quite a ride, right? I got the job, and some of my coaches from Greensboro came on board, and I was fortunate to keep some of the coaches that Palmieri already had on staff before, which are great guys. And so right around when this was happening, man, the pandemic hit, and we were essentially somewhat separated from the players, and we really had to work hard to gain communication with the kids through that time. And then over time, we've gotten more and more communication with our players, and kind of got into a flow where we use the virtual platform to kind of stay in touch with everybody and kind of build our team for this season, not knowing when we were going to have a season. And then that transferred to us finally being able to work out. And so we got to know the kids a little bit better. And once we started school, and during school, it's been, still some distance between us and the kids, not just the players, but just the students that we teach as well. And so we've worked through that and done the best we can. And, just recently CMS shut down workouts and just sports across the county. So that was another challenge, essentially, and so here we are, with the opportunity to kind of start up next Monday with the first day of practice. And so we've tried to close the gap as best we could within the virtual world with our kids, and that's been challenging. But we talked this morning, we had a leadership meeting, and it's just overall, man, finding ways to overcome challenges is part of leading.
Mm-hmm.
And we've got some really, really great coaches and great parents. And the culture at Mallard Creek has been awesome. So, just things I've learned so far is I'm definitely fortunate to be a part of the Creek family, and we got a really good staff. The kids have great parents that are supportive. And so we've tried to communicate with them as much as possible to kind of build our football family, essentially.
Mm-hmm.
And then obviously working for the leaders at Mallard Creek has been really awesome as well. I mean, just a lot of people at the athletic director, assistant principals, the head principal. Ultimately, they just want us to be successful and want the kids to be successful, and kind of everybody's doing what they can to push that.
Absolutely, no doubt about it, Coach. And always having that good supporting staff is key for a good, healthy coaching relationship. So, you mentioned a little bit about the COVID-19 process and coaching. We asked about that. I asked about that the last time we interviewed. Now looking forward to what are some of the things that you learned through this process, as well as maybe some things you might bring into the next fall season with you.
Yeah, that's a great point and great question. I think the obviously communication has totally changed. I think we've always thought that if we needed to go learn, then we had to go to the place in which we wanted to learn from. So if you wanted to talk to a coach in a different state, then you would have to go to the clinic, right? And so you'd have to take time, drive, miss days. And with the Zoom platform, it's so easy to, communicate with others and learn. And so we've definitely taken part in that. And then obviously with our kids, you can communicate with the kids in a meeting form or a session essentially virtually. And so just the efficiency of time in that sense helps. And then you also learn, how important it is to have the opportunity to coach and be around your kids, right? You appreciate the chance to be at practice, um, knowing that it's not necessarily always promised. I think that's something we take for granted. I never thought this could possibly happen, and as far as what's happened in the past year. Um, so, just the opportunity to be educated and be in the class and be in person. Sometimes teachers overlook that as like, oh gosh, I got to go to work. But now it's like, man, the opportunity to be with our kids and be with our people and help them become better people is certainly missed. So there's pros and cons to everything, like you're essentially bringing up, Brendan. It's just a matter of finding it and then using those experiences to help for your future experiences.
Absolutely, no doubt about it. So, Coach, let's jump into this 2021 spring season. Taking a look at the schedule, and of course, we announced yesterday that we will be coming to Mallard Creek for our game of the week against Vance. With that game, what are some of the other games you're looking forward to playing? What are some of the things you're looking forward to playing against Vance? And what are some of the athletes you're looking forward to seeing on your field this spring season?
Gotcha. Our with it being my first time, I think every game will be a great experience because you're learning a lot about the area, the opponents, and the kids. I think with Charlotte being a bigger area, the amount of athletes is especially rises and goes up, and so I think that'll play into, you know, the teams that we play, and some of those teams' ability. The overall process and thought is the same. I mean, we want to have the best experience that we possibly can, and we want to, reach our team goals. And so, I think you said, Vance. Obviously, they're the defending state champions. They're 5 minutes from our school, just about seems, and so that's a really important game for our community. I think we know how important that game is for our kids, and the direction that we're trying to go in. And I think we've worked very hard to make sure that we've done everything within our power, despite the circumstances, to be prepared for that game. That's a very important game. And then, the next game is also as important. Um, so regardless of who we're playing, I think it's Lake Norman. Regardless of who we're playing, the process is the same. We want that information of how we can improve, right? And so we can create the best team that we can possibly can. We got some, good amount of seniors. We've lost some seniors, because of them signing early. We lost a couple, and then, but the majority of the kids are still in school and intact. And so, that's priority one, is help those guys have a great experience because of what they've had to go through and endure. And we definitely appreciate our kids' commitment to the program and to their dreams, and to their goals, despite all that they've been through. That you find the kids are really resilient, and they find a way to get better no matter what, man. I've definitely seen that with the kids that we have, which speaks a lot to the culture and the coaches that were here before us. So, a lot to look forward to. You asked about players. Caleb Washington, they both play quarterback. Caleb plays some safety, some receiver. Mike Works, Jair Smith are returning DBs. I think we're really excited about Devron. He's had a good off season as far as just learning and being a part. We've got some good young players with Mojo, Jalen Bowden. Travail's a leader. He's a man in his own right. So he's he'll be key to our success. There's been like a family lineage as far as the Harbison family, and so Dante is the final boy that's coming through the Mallard Creek program, and I think all of his brothers have had success. And Dante's versatility is something we're excited about. Bigelow, I mean, I can go on for days, man. You know what I mean? Bryce Boyd has been tremendous. Carl Bay, I mean, these kids work hard. They're learning. Giving great effort to be prepared for their quizzes. They get surprise pop quizzes. I mean, and they constantly, come to work and try to improve. Jaden Reeder is one of my favorites. Just a guy that's, you can't catch him off guard. I called him last week with a pop quiz, and he aced it in seconds, right? Because he's always prepared and still working on the little things we all are. But a ton of good players. Dixon is another returning big time player for us. And I mean, shoot, I don't even like doing this, Brendan, because man, when you look at our football team, first of all, Mallard Creek's got a ton of great players. And then you look at our team, man, all of our kids are going to be contributors and are important. And to be honest with you, even the names that I just named, nobody's earned anything yet, right? Till we go through camp and go through the process of being prepared. So, um, but a tremendous amount of great kids that come from great homes, man, good parents.
Awesome. No doubt about it, Coach. So, Coach, for my final question, this is a very popular question on the show, and I want to get your thoughts about it. Of course, as you may be aware, the North Carolina High School Athletic Association released the realignment for the fall of 2021 season to the 2026 season. Now, me asking a lot of these coaches across the state of North Carolina have had a lot of mixed opinions, anywhere from they liked it, they don't like it, we should extend to 5A, even some say 6A. What is your thoughts and opinions on it, as well as what do you see best for the Mallard Creek future?
Um, you know, First of all, I think it's very, I say this, when you're in a leadership role, what I mean, and you are with your organization and business and we are as coaches, I think it's very easy for people that are essentially that view what we do to say, oh man, that's you should be doing it this way or that way. So I try to be careful and respectful about what people do, and I'm sure there's a lot of things that go into their job that I don't understand or I'm not qualified for. As far as my opinion, I I think the goal is to get a scenario that's as fair as possible, right, for all the kids, for all the teams, for all the schools. And I don't think you can ever do that perfectly, but I think you can measure it and try to do it to the best of your ability. I think the model we have right now is not fair. I mean, and there's a 5A would probably make it more fair for the kids. There's going to be some teams in 4A, um, you know, that were 3A last year, and I don't see how a school with 1,000 to 1,500 less kids could compete with, you know, schools like Mallard Creek. That'd be very challenging. And so, gosh, what do you do their school, their program when they know they're going in the playoff at a major disadvantage like that? I think that's pointless. And I know we have bylaws and rules as far as the voting process for 5A, but I think sometimes you got to go with, you know, I know bylaws are bylaws, but then there's what's fair and what's right, And if something came out that's not right,
Mm-hmm.
if we say this is how we're doing it, but it's not the best way, I certainly don't know why we couldn't have some of the bylaws that fixed it. If we knew something was better. And so I think the 5A should definitely be entertained in relation to the amount of kids in each division, or I say, yeah, the amount of teams in each division in relation to the amount of people that each school has. There's a is I, we just went from four divisions. Excuse me, eight divisions with the as far as football, with the 1A, 1AA, 2A, 2AA. And so now you're joining those together. Man, there's got to be some unfair numbers somewhere in there. I would think. So that's my opinion on it. I hope we can get it fixed. I know a lot of it dealt with like having the voting process being including principals, right? And that kind of hurt communication in the structure. And then so automatic no's, a non-vote was an automatic no, which means you're just getting information that's not really valid if the principals don't participate. And so I honestly, I don't see why they can't do it online, right? You get an email, you go online, you click your vote, and then if your school didn't vote, then you're held accountable for not voting. I mean, then that way you make sure everybody votes.
Hmm.
I, but heck, who am I? I'm not the smartest guy. I don't know. I just think it's always important for us to constantly improve. I mean, you're doing that. We just talked about that in your business, and as coaches, we got to do the same. And I don't see why everybody else shouldn't be held to that same standard, personally.
Yes, sir. Guys, this was Coach Kennedy Tinsley from Mallard Creek High School. Coach Tinsley, thank you for joining once again on the show, and we're looking forward to seeing y'all week 1 in action against Vance.
All right, man. We appreciate it. Look forward to seeing you, bro.
Yes, sir.